The seal has finally been broken. On January 30th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice, under the hammer of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, detonated a digital bomb. 3 million pages of records, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. This isn't just paper, it is the skeleton of a global shadow empire. For years, we were told the client list didn't exist. But today, the names are staring back at us from the abyss. This archive reveals a horrifying truth. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a predator. He was a bridge between the highest offices of government, the labs of elite science, and the boardrooms of the most powerful tech companies on Earth. But while the media obsesses over the famous names, a darker story is emerging, one of systemic betrayal. Survivors are calling this transparency by force, accusing the DOJ of redacting the names of the abusers while leaving the victims' identities vulnerable to the world. Tonight, we don't just look at the list. We look at the evidence the world was never meant to see. The files put two American titans directly in the line of fire. First, the Clintons. The 2026 files contain a bombshell, draft subpoenas for Bill and Hillary Clinton to testify. Why? Because the unsealed photos tell a story the flight logs didn't. We now see images of Bill Clinton in private settings, surrounded by individuals whose faces have been scrubbed by government censors. Testimony from victim Johanna Schoberg has been re-verified. She claims Epstein boasted that Clinton likes them young. The documents reveal a desperate 2026 push by the Clintons to avoid a contempt of Congress vote, finally agreeing to testify only after their names appeared in thousands of emails. Then there is Donald Trump. The January 2026 dump confirms Trump is mentioned over 1,000 times. While many references are benign, others are chilling. FBI notes from 2007 reveal an employee at Epstein's Florida estate was tasked with fanning $100 bills on a table and placing a loaded gun between Epstein's mattresses. That same employee testified that Epstein and Maxwell used Mar-a-Lago as a primary scouting ground. The files contain a spreadsheet of uncorroborated calls alleging direct knowledge. The files don't prove a crime by Trump, but they shatter the narrative that he was a bystander. He was a regular on the Lolita Express, and the 2026 files prove the FBI knew it for 2 decades. If you thought the Prince Andrew scandal was over, the 2026 files prove it's only just beginning. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor appears in these documents hundreds of times. The most damning evidence? A 2010 email exchange. Epstein, fresh out of house arrest for sex crimes, was invited into the heart of the British monarchy. Epstein wrote to the Duke, offering him a gift, a 26-year-old Russian woman. Andrew's response? I would be delighted to see her. Additional emails show Andrew offering Epstein dinner at Buckingham Palace for lots of privacy in September 2010. This directly contradicts Andrew's 2019 interview. The 2026 files prove he was actually hosting a convicted pedophile at the palace while Epstein was actively recruiting. The documents also confirm the puppet incident, a lewd, dehumanizing display involving a caricature of the prince and a young victim in Epstein's New York townhouse. The monarchy is in a tailspin, and for the first time, the Duke of York has no defense left. Epstein didn't just want power, he wanted the future. The 2026 files reveal a web of tech billionaires who were far closer to the flame than they admitted. Elon Musk appears in a November 2012 exchange. Epstein asks how many people would be joining him for a helicopter ride to Little St. James. Musk's reply, probably just Tallulah and me. What day/night will be the wildest party? Then there is Bill Gates. A draft email from Epstein contains a blackmail-style allegation. Epstein claimed he helped Gates get drugs to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. The unsealed files show Epstein funding a pleasure genome initiative with Harvard scientists. This wasn't just philanthropy, it was a genetics and brain laboratory designed to study life extension and neural correlates of pleasure. From Google co-founder Sergey Brin discussing movie screenings to Jeff Bezos allegedly seen at Ghislaine Maxwell's townhouse, the tech elite treated Epstein's world like a private club. The question now is, What did they buy with their silence? Jeffrey Epstein is dead, but the system that built him is still very much alive. The final and perhaps most disgusting revelation of the 2026 files is the 2007 ghost indictment. For nearly 20 years, the public was told Epstein was a lone actor. The new documents prove that was a lie. In May 2007, the FBI had a draft indictment ready. It didn't just target Epstein, it targeted 3 of his personal assistants in a massive sex trafficking conspiracy. The evidence was overwhelming: used condoms, guns under mattresses, and testimony of victims being lent out to men like Harvey Weinstein and billionaire Leon Black. Yet, that indictment was buried. The files show U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta secretly signed a non-prosecution agreement that gave Epstein's co-conspirators total immunity. The 2026 files prove the government knew about the international reach of this ring, from Israel to India, and chose to protect the perpetrators. As we close these 3 million pages, one thing is clear: Jeffrey Epstein is dead, but the system that built him is still very much alive. The client list is no longer a conspiracy theory. It is a matter of public record. And the world is finally watching.